Yeah.
It's so much, and I'm not sure it makes me feel Christmassy. That is ridiculous. I'm not having that.
This neighbour doesn't look lonely, but angry.
Right, should we do the actual episode now?
Yeah.
Ding dong bell, and welcome to Bigger Feet once more. My name is George, this is Tom.
Hello.
And we're here for more Christmas shenanigans. It's all about Christmas commercials, classic Christmas commercials this time. And Tom has picked out a few of his favourite childhood memories. We're going to get to the bottom of what Christmas advertising is all about.
The true meaning of Christmas is Coca-Cola trucks, which is the first one.
What a classic.
Very classic. Yeah, so this came out in 1995. Coca-Cola has definitely established itself as Christmas commercial extraordinaire.
And am I right in thinking that a lot of the creative elements of this commercial are common to every campaign every year? The trucks that are driving in a train like a convoy like that.
Yeah, so
the lights, the music,
They've certainly done a lot with these trucks. I've noticed in the more recent ones that they've kind of started deviating away from that. And the next one we'll look at is a contemporary Coca-Cola ad, which I thought would be kind of interesting to compare and contrast. Yeah, I noticed a few things about this one that stood out to me. And the first thing is that this has the same vibe as a film, like a movie from this time. Like if you put on a rom-com or something from the mid-90s, feels very similar in a sort of way I can't really put my finger on, except for that a lot of the visuals were done by a company called Industrial Light and Magic. Is that it?
ILM.
Little known company in the industry that was set up by a George Lucas. So big studio that knows how to make things look like a big studio film.
Something else I noticed about this is there's a sense of anticipation. Holidays are coming. They're coming. It's on the way.
Yeah.
And there's something special about that feeling that is common to a lot of these Christmas commercials, I think.
A lot of current commercials try to cram a lot of narrative into like 1 minute. This doesn't really do that. It has a very strong message, but it's kind of conveyed in a simple, straightforward, hard to misinterpret way. Like, Coca-Cola brings joy and light to your town, and there's a train of big, massive Coca-Cola trucks on its way.
It's an Act 1 without an Act 2 or an Act 3. It's just setting up for what's coming. And it makes sense, because this would air in the lead up to Christmas.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay that off necessarily in this kind of advertising. You just need to set up the excitement. Shall we move on to the next?
Yeah, let's do that.
The updated version of this campaign.
Yeah,
or
2021
contemporary
Christmas commercial.
I was just trying to make the connection there. It's a chimney thing.
Yeah.
Chimney. Yeah. I was wondering what Mary Poppins had to do with Christmas.
All right, so no trucks. This is kind of what I was alluding to with a lot of contemporary commercials try to cram a lot of narrative into the span of like a minute and a half. And if you can pull that off, brilliant. I don't think this commercial really pulls it off. Kid making something out of boxes, fine, kids do that. Kid wanting to invite over their lonely neighbor, fine.
Yeah.
Very cute. From the outside, and this is my first problem, this neighbor doesn't look lonely, but angry and
I thought
distant.
that too. Yeah.
That's kind of weird. Why are all the neighbors helping out building this labyrinth of actual trash around their building?
Over-engineered to me.
Who actually puts this present in this chimney to be delivered to the angry/lonely neighbor? Because the kid goes to bed after admiring its work. No one actually does the action of delivering the present. Is it Santa?
I should have thought that would be obvious, Tom.
Is it Santa?
Well, who else?
The kid is doing the inviting.
No. Clearly,
It's
Santa
a dinner
Claus.
at our place. On that note,
that's just the magic of Santa Claus. Magical message delivered through the thing, the box with the Coca-Cola at the top, and they needed to build it all around the fire escape like that because of physics.
I think what my problem is that it's not out there enough to be a sort of fantasy story.
Yeah.
And it's not logical or sensible enough to feel relatable and realistic.
But you've got some of the same aesthetic cues as in the Trucks classic thing. Lots of these pinpoints of coloured light
Yeah.
in the darkness. That's kind of nice. And there's a musical swell underneath a well-known tune, which isn't very Christmassy, but
They've
is
made it Christmas-like in
chimney
this
related.
composition.
Yeah. So some of those same pieces, but they don't quite pull together to make the same whole. Christmas is ruined. But interesting. I think you're right about how times change in advertising. There's so much more expectation in a campaign like this now, and partly that's due to the success of things like the John Lewis thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're supposed to make a big film to impress everyone, and actually sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you just need to get the right message, deliver it with as little wasted time and space as possible, and you've got yourself something cool. Do you know what Santa really likes when it comes to the good list? Is if you subscribe to this channel, it gets you straight on the good list. It does.
Sorry, that caught me so much.
Jenkins.
What I find really interesting about this one is that it almost kind of approaches content marketing in a way. Sainsbury's have taken the historical data and like letters and, you know, artifacts and stuff and made a short film out of this actual event. And I think it's really cool.
It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? That's one thing to say about it. It is beautifully made as a film.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. I think, though, it's a bit too heavy. Like, I'm not saying this isn't
That's
a worthwhile
fair
thing,
enough.
but like, there are sad stories, and then there's this, and it's like, it's so much, and I'm not sure it makes me feel Christmassy. I think it makes me feel just so
really sad.
heavy and really sad, and like,
Yeah.
it's a bit much,
That,
isn't it?
that is fair.
Do you think they took it too far, or is it just right?
I personally quite like it. I think it's cool that they kept it real and historically accurate. There's like a chocolate bar, but it's not heavily branded. It's more of a prop
I
that
think
makes sense.
It might have been enough to ruin it just to have Sainsbury's written on that chocolate bar even, and
exactly.
it wasn't. And I'm so glad, because I'm just the whole thing, I'm just like, oh god, it's so much.
Don't go that way.
But actually, I totally agree with you. It's fabulous and so brave in a way, because gosh, they could have got it wrong, couldn't they?
They could have got it very wrong, but they went through all of the effort to make it right. Like I talked about aesthetic and stuff during the first Coca-Cola one, that feels like a film of its time. I think this feels very much like if you type short film into the YouTube search bar, and you get these award-winning 3 to 10 minute sort of passion projects with millions of views. This has the same sort of texture and vibe. It's like it's a passion project before it's an ad.
I was an extra in a short film about World War One once. I don't know if we can find that clip and pop it in.
That'd be quite fun.
I was a scared soldier. It would have been really easy to make this all gross and icky if they tried to give the shopping cart eyebrows or something. It could have been terrible, right? But they're very subtle and gentle about how they anthropomorphize the shopping cart.
This is exactly what I wanted to talk about.
The sound design, squeaky noises, a little bit of animation. The animation is not unrealistic, but it's characterful.
Yeah.
The way that the thing moves, it evidences excitement or whimsical fun as it spins around in the aisle. It's really lovely.
Exactly. The sound effects, especially the sort of slight squeaking. This shopping cart squeaks a lot more than an actual shopping cart would. But if you listen closely and you watch it again, you can really hear sort of intonation in the squeaks, which is interesting. Melody. So there's a bit of sort of sadness at the start, and then before they go into the store the first time, it's kind of, sort of questioning, do you want to go on an adventure in this Aldi with me? And then when they're actually in the store, it sounds sort of like an excited guinea pig. It's sort of that was the vibe I was getting. It's just,
that's so clever. You can do so much with so little in commercials, you know, especially when you're trying to solve the problem of how do I convey what I need to convey in no time at all. Shall we press on?
The last one I prepared, coincidentally, another German supermarket chain.
Oh, cool.
Very different ad though.
Ich wollte nur kurz anrufen und dir Bescheid geben. Wir werden es Weihnachten dieses Jahr wieder nicht schaffen.
To you. The more I miss the love you've shared. Home used to be just some walls. It means nothing without you.
Exactly.
Uns alle zusammenbringen sollen.
That is ridiculous.
Thanks.
I'm not having that. That's
Yeah.
absolutely outrageous.
The reason I wanted to talk about this ad is because it came back in my research twice. A while ago, we did a video about cringe ads, and this came up in one of the lists I looked at the time as like a very controversial, weird, cringy ad. It also came back this time around as someone's favorite Christmas commercial.
One of the great
Wild.
stories in marketing is Marmite, love it or hate it, right? And it's not necessarily a bad thing if a commercial splits opinion. If somebody really loves it and someone really hates it, at least you're getting through.
Yeah.
Right? But I find it very hard to believe anyone thought that was all right.
Yeah, it's...
Can you imagine showing up for your father's funeral and he's like, got you, now we can have Christmas together?
Yeah.
You'd be fuming.
What my thought was as well is that this doesn't feel like an ad for a supermarket at all. Like,
No.
regardless of the fact that it's like a sort of narrative ad and they don't show any products sort of in your face or whatever, this feels like a public health ad for elderly loneliness that was taken a step too far.
As we've said, they would be fuming. They wouldn't stay for dinner. He's wasted his time and money going to the supermarket. They'd have all just gone off. That's outrageous. I'm not surprised they've ghosted him this whole time if he's up to that sort of shenanigans. Ridiculous.
What a bastard, this granddad.
He's a maniac. But it does sort of, it kind of smacks of, again, the old boardroom. People sitting there going, other businesses, they do big narrative Christmas ads and tug at the heartstrings. We should do one of those, shouldn't we? And somebody's gone, what about, granddad, he's sad because he's not, and they've just spun through the process without really stopping to think about whether
If it made sense. Yeah.
whether it was in any way a good reflection on the brand. It's really weird.
This is not the only Christmas episode we're doing. If you're interested in watching us react to more Christmas commercials yet, we have also done one about John Lewis Christmas commercials. You had one as well, right? That you wanted to share?
Yeah, well, I'll try and be brief, right? Because when I was thinking of classic Christmas commercials that I remember, I just remembered this one.
Magical place, we're on our way there. With toys in the millions all under one roof. It's called Toys R Us.
I have a question.
Yeah, why isn't it a Christmas commercial?
Well, I was going to ask, are they elves or children?
I think they're enforced labour children. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they might be. They also appear all to be siblings because they all look
Yeah,
exactly
that
the
too.
same. I particularly want to talk about the nostalgia value because I've seen various versions of this. They did like a reboot of it in 2009.
Magical place, we're on our way there.
Yeah, cleaner audio as well, but that looks bizarrely similar.
Yeah, it's like literally the same commercial, and it's not just up-resed, it's not just like more pixels, but it is a different... It's a remake of the same exact shots in the same exact order. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird because I haven't seen this ad before, but I can definitely tell you that the previous one felt more appropriate in a way. It made more sense in this old VHS style.
One of the things that's lovely about it is it's old and soft, and obviously it wasn't when it first
No, of
happened.
course.
But the point I think I'm trying to get at is that there's value in the original medium and in the cues of the original medium, and so it makes perfect sense that old-fashioned style things have to be credibly old-fashioned by using design cues from the time of in question.
Yeah.
The other main point that I wanted to make about this commercial is that it's all about the music. We didn't see any prices or specific mentions of products or reasons why you should buy this or that. Right at the beginning, there's a key change up a tone to heighten excitement. We're going upwards, 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 always spinning up the intensity. And the production builds. There's drums coming in. There's this lovely like swirling string part in the background, and then we get to the point where it's like all epic at the end and half-time drums. And there's millions. It's all really like epic. And there's also this leaning forward thing. A lot of the rhythms are syncopated to come slightly before the bar line, before the beat.
Yeah.
So we got Toys R Us before the downbeat. And I reckon that's the same thing as we've been talking about with the Coke commercial. It's all anticipatory. It's all on the front foot. It's always moving forward, leaning forward, because you want what's coming. And that's, in essence, what the Christmas commercial is all about. It's about building the excitement for what might be in the near future. What could happen? What's the magic coming down the chimney? So, do we have anything else to say about any of these commercials or any other commercials? That Grandad one.
Faking his own death.
That's freaking me out still.
Ace. Yeah.
Outrageous behaviour. So that's about all we've got time for. We've got to go and grab some turkey. Hope you've had a good time watching this and our previous videos throughout the year. Thanks very much for being with us. We'll see you again in the new year. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.